to give her a especially warm welcome because she hasn't performed here for Derby Bush Poets previously. Shan-Rose Brown, born in Scotland, so that's a lovely confession to start out with. But you've been here a long time now, Shan, so we're going to make you welcome and you're going to come up here and instruct your stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to be back up in Derby on holiday and enjoy the sunshine because it's freezing in Perth. I'm presenting two poems to you. The first one, when I told my friends in the Perth Poets I was presenting here, my friend Dave Smith says, "Shan, you must do this poem for me. I have written it specially for this." So I says, "Okay, I'll do it." The poem is called Wally's New Boots and it's written by Dave Smith from Collie. Things are crook out here in the bush, of this there is really no doubt. Ain't no point whinging, we'll just keep shush and try to last out this god-awful drought. Now Roma and Wally, they're a crusty old pair, picking by hand those darn mallee roots, while this hardy old couple tried not to despair, but Wally had a desperate need for new boots. His poor old bloodstones were nearly clapped out. His luck had to change before they were done in, and Roma's old purse from funds had run out. Then the lotto came in. It was a very small one. No mucking around, Wally took off to town. He was looking for boots that are new and store-bought. Then look what he found, R.M. Williams, the boots of renown. He's going to have these. They're the ones that he sought. Wally wore his new boots and he rushed right on home. "My love," he cried, "can you see my new pride and joy?" Roma looked up from the jobs she had been doing alone. "Look, Sammy, me, silly old coot. Find someone else to annoy." He stripped himself bare, put his gear on the chair, left only his socks and new boots. Roma, she looked and said, "Same tangled beer, same unkept hair, pot belly that's going nowhere, same funny old thing dangling there, looking all sad and blue." Wally exclaimed, "He's not dangling there, and he's not in despair. It's me new boots he's looking at." Roma, she sighed. "Well, me old lover, if that's really true, I wish you'd bought a new hat." They're my favourite classic poems. For people who don't know what a classic poem is, it was written over 50 years ago. And this one was written by Francis Humphreys Brown in 1928. This poem actually won a classic competition in Perth. Mind you, the person who presented it was excellent. Therefore, I hope to do her justice. It's called Scotty's Wild Stuff Stew. The cause of all the trouble was McCabe the Jackaroo, who ordered what facetiously he'd christened wild stuff stew. He had shot a brace of pigeons and had brought them in unplucked. It's not the first occasion, and no wonder Scotty bucked. As aside he threw the pigeons and addressed the Jackaroo, "You'll pluck those bloody pigeons, or you'll get no bloody stew." But the Jackaroo objected, and objected strongly too. But Scotty didn't argue much. He winked across the blue, and turning to the slushy, said, "I'll give him well-stuffed stew." The next day it was Sunday, and not having much to do, we all assisted Scotty in the making of the stew. We raked along the wool sheds, in the pens and round about. It was marvellous, all the wild things that us Rosses fossicked out. There Ginger found a lizard. It was quite a big one too. It was rather rough to handle, but it softened in the stew. Then Snowy found some hairy things inside a musterer's tent, and Splinter found a lady frog. So in the lady went. From McGregor, who'd been foxing, we obtained a skin or two. They should have gone for bootlace, but they went in the stew. Then someone found a dingo that the boundary riders shot. It was more or less fermented, still it went inside the pot. And Scotty found some insects with an overpowering scent, and the slushy trapped a mother mouse, and in poor mother went. There was some hesitation about a spider in a tin. We didn't like the small red spot, but Scotty dumped it in. There were a host of other things, I can't recall the lot, that were cast into eternity per medium of the pot. Those strange and weird concoctions that the locals sometimes brew would be mild potations if compared to Scottish stew. And when the jackaroo arrived, a happy man was he, to find that Scotty, after all, had cooked a stew for tea. He rolled his eyes and snuffed the fumes. 'Twas dinkum stuff, he swore. He complimented Scotty, and he passed his plate for more. And when we let him have his fill, we took him round to view a list of what had left the world to enter Scottish stew. I grant you there were wild things connected with that stew, but nothing was wilder than McCabe the jackaroo. He got the dries and he got the shakes, and we felt shaky too. We were thinking of the spider with that red spot in the stew. We rushed him to the homestead. They told him it was flu, but as Rouses we knew better. It was Scotty's wild stuff stew. But Scotty isn't cooking now, for Scotty is long dead. They say he turned her in through booze at Thurl Laguna Shed. And away across the border there's a certain jackaroo who for years has never again tasted what we christened Scotty's wild stuff stew.